Johnny, there's a trouble. Dick, mate. Fucking quiet! Easy, don't fucking touch my voice, mate! Fucking get it!
Kabigua.
You got a knife? Tell me what happened to her, or I'll kill you.
No room service cars anywhere between Last Street and the Crown.
The film opens in war-torn Afghanistan, where a drone strike obliterates a village, causing devastating casualties among both civilians and soldiers. From there, the story jumps to London and introduces Joseph Smith, once a highly trained Special Forces operative, now a broken man living on the streets under the alias Joe Jones. Drowning his trauma in alcohol. One night, Joseph witnesses two drug addicts harassing his homeless friend Isabel. He steps in to defend her, triggering a violent brawl. Outnumbered and overwhelmed, Joseph barely escapes. While fleeing, he stumbles into a luxury apartment building and hides inside an empty flat. His pursuer eventually gives up, leaving Joseph to recover in the stolen refuge. Inside, Joseph discovers alcohol and drinks heavily, revealing the full extent of his addiction. He washes up, cuts his long hair, and changes into the clothes he finds. While exploring, he spots a note from the apartment's owner, Damon, stating he won't return until October, giving Joseph a temporary place to stay. He later finds Damon's credit card, memorizes the PIN, and withdraws a stack of cash. That night, Joseph wanders the streets drunk, then returns to the apartment only to be hit with intense flashbacks of Afghanistan. Determined to find Isabel, he searches the ghetto but fails. During his search, he meets Sister Christina, a kind nun who runs a soup kitchen for the homeless. She recognizes him, surprised by his cleaner appearance. Before she can offer help, Joseph leaves 500 pounds on her table, telling her to keep it for herself, a gesture that moves her deeply. The next morning, Joseph wakes up hallucinating hummingbirds and reliving battlefield memories. In panic, he fires at the imaginary birds, exposing the depth of his PTSD. Christina later helps him treat his infected ribs and gives him antibiotics. Joseph admits he's been running from his military court-martial, afraid of the consequences. When he asks about Isabel, Christina tells him she hasn't shown up for days. Joseph leaves his number around the area, hoping she'll call. Eventually, Isabel contacts him, saying she's alive but trapped working for dangerous people, trying to rebuild his life. Joseph takes a job at a Chinese restaurant. After he handles a group of troublemakers with ease, the owner, Mr. Troy, recruits him as a driver for their criminal operations, transporting drugs and collecting extortion payments. Joseph, needing money and stability, reluctantly accepts. While preparing a barbecue for Christina, Joseph gets a call from Officer David about a body that needs identifying. At the morgue, he discovers the victim is Isabel, murdered and dumped in the river. Heartbroken, Joseph spirals into guilt. Christina confronts him, accusing him of hypocrisy for feeding the same criminal world that contributed to Isabel's death. She begs him to leave the life of crime behind. Fueled by sorrow and rage, Joseph searches the streets for answers. In Old Street, he beats down a group of thugs, forcing them to reveal Isabel's killer.
Who killed Isabel?
A regular client in his 30s with a scar above his eye. Joseph later attends a community gathering and passes the description to Christina, who agrees to forward it to Officer David. After the event, Christina, conflicted, emotional, and drawn to Joseph despite her vows, kisses him. But Joseph continues working for Mr. Troy, and during one of his collections, a confrontation escalates, leaving the restaurant owner's son shot and police closing in. Driving Christina home afterward, Joseph comforts her as she reveals her painful past, her shattered dream of becoming a ballerina, the abuse she suffered in gymnastics, and her desire to serve in Sierra Leone. The head nun questions her plans to leave London, but Christina insists Africa is where she's meant to be. Meanwhile, Joseph seeks help from Mr. Troy's boss to identify the scarred man. The boss recognizes the description but demands a favor in return. Joseph must transport trafficked refugees and enslaved individuals. Reluctantly, Joseph complies. Soon after, he receives an invitation to a rooftop cocktail party where Isabel's killer, Max Forrester, will appear. The event happens the same night as a famous dancer's farewell performance and the day Damon is supposed to return. Over coffee, Christina tells Joseph she's leaving for Africa soon. Later, as they spend a quiet evening in Damon's apartment, Damon unexpectedly returns early. Shocked and angry, he tries to throw Joseph out. Joseph pays him off with the money he stole, then leaves the apartment for good. Preparing to face what comes next, the rooftop party. Joseph finally spots Max Forrester. He confronts him, exposing his crime. Max panics and tries to escape, but Joseph catches him and beats him brutally. In the end, Joseph chooses not to kill him. He leaves Max barely conscious for the authorities. Thanks to Christina's report and Joseph's confrontation, Max is later arrested for Isabel's murder. Afterward, Joseph and Christina meet one last time. They share a quiet, emotional goodbye, both changed by the bond they formed but accepting that their lives must go in different directions. The next day, Joseph watches as Christina leaves London for Africa, stepping into the future she's chosen. In the final moments, Joseph leaves her a letter promising to stop running and face his past. With a heavy but determined heart, he walks toward a police station, ready to surrender, finally seeking redemption after everything he's done.